Zarya coming out. And so it's going to be a triple tank for them on the defense.
A little bit interesting here, not running the dive defense, but I think it makes a little bit of sense, especially on these hybrid maps. You see a lot of triple tank on King's Row on offense and defense, depending on the region too, but the dive offense makes perfect sense. Probably just looking for that right angle, looking to see if anyone is set up on that ledge, because if you do dive, you want to get into that verticality right away. So far, just the pokes back and forth as the Winstons will get their duel. I like this rotation from the 76. He comes through here trying to get all the initial damage done, and that's the first kill onto Latex.
Yeah, Logix was just peppering him the entire time, and Neptuno was able to get that killing blow. Now Finzi pushing forward with that 76. He's got to get that Diva mech out of the way first, just so he can get the free damage off. But they're starting to retreat on the side of Cyclowns, which is good. You know, they're giving up some of the meter while they're waiting for that Winston to come back. And it's Latex on Winston. He can just jump right back in. We have the sound barrier coming out from Cyclones, and immediately Movistar Riders back off.
That's exactly what you would want to do if you're going to run triple tank, though. You can back into those houses, you can back into those corridors, you've got the bodies there, and now you see it flip back around. The beautiful sound barrier came out to re-engage. Really smart play there to not play out on the point. Hide away in your forts. You've got these big bodies, you've got these big pools, and eventually you're going to get yourself in a position where you can fight back. It's exactly what happens, and now they're equalized. Finzi's going to be on the other side here. He does have Tactical Visor, but as you mentioned, is Tactical Visor even that good against what Cyclones is running here?
It's going to be very difficult. Cyclones have been doing a really good job of keeping the meat of the army in front of their supports. So Logix hasn't been able to get into the back line, try and, you know, deal with FZ and Crusade. We got the Graviton Surge coming out as Movistar Riders trying to push in, but already 2 kills, 3 kills come on out. They're just going to be able to easily clean up. Cyclones is just dabbing here, but he's going to go down as Finzi cleans that up. That's a triple kill for him with that Tactical Visor, and that's going to be point A.
Something went very wrong there with the Graviton not getting the anti-heal going on, because there's only one reason you Graviton an incoming Transcend, is you're expecting the Yana grenade right there. I didn't see exactly what prevented Epsi from throwing that grenade on there, but otherwise it's the Zarya's fault, a lack of communication there, because that Transcend was coming in and then they Graviton. There's no excuse for that to not hit that combination. That anti-heal has to come out there.
Yeah, and so immediately Pox has swapped off. He's going to go to that Soldier 76 here, so it's going to be a 2-2-2 composition, but Movistar Riders, even though we have Cyclones taking position up on the ramparts here, Movistar Riders have the tools to deal with it and jump on top. It's going to be Colsey that goes in first. Finzi's already found a kill onto Destro now.
Colsey gets up and gets down, but does not get out with his life, as FC will take him down. Very back and forth. Now the anti-heal did come down onto Swoosh, and now the defense, you should be stabilized here. There's not a whole lot of threats to be able to knock Pooks off his perch, which is why on the offense now you'd imagine seeing perhaps someone switch into a Diva to help out Colsey. The Genji can maybe go up there with them, but this high ground has to be taken. A lot of these escort maps, Hollywood comes to mind, they have this area on second where you need to start running maybe more vertical threats.
Yeah, generally I believe it's Finzi that swaps off onto the Diva, but he's got this Tactical Visor. It's just trying to get into position when all of Cyclowns are already up top, and Pox has his own Tactical Visor at the ready. He doesn't want to jump down quite yet.
Yeah, look at this. They find themselves in trouble. They both just jump up and away. They're like, oh, our high ground is way better. They will take this time to get some free push out of the card. That is logic than his TBT. The blade does come out from Swoosh, and he will find Epsi up top. That's the high ground control we were looking for. Now a 6v4 in favor of the offense as they continue to push forward. Diva is discorded, demeched, and deleted. Triple D'd onto Diva, and they will continue to get some good push.
Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't much for Cyclowns to do there once Swoosh got up onto the high ground. I mean, you don't have anything really to counter at that point. Crusade, fortunately, the sound barrier was just not enough, and so they're going to be able to push forward. There's 2 minutes and 35 seconds for Movistar Riders to get this second checkpoint, and now Cyclones have pushed out of their base. They're making it onto the high ground.
Finzi's been holding onto this visor for a bit too. He's trying to find himself in good position. That's not the ideal target right there. He's gonna wait for it, still unneeded, as they will bomb out Latex. Transcend coming in, a good stagger of the ultimates, and Finzi has been looking for a spot to contribute, but his team has just taken away all his targets.
Yeah, there just wasn't much for Cyclowns to do. They tried to push forward with a nano boosted Winston. That was Latex, and that was the only ultimate they had to work with. They really couldn't buy much more time as the payload was making its way across that bridge. It was just their last-ditch effort, trying to stall for as long as possible, as we do have Latex. He's jumped through the window, but he's going to get cleaned up easily. And at this point, Cyclones are just trying to burn as much time off of Movistar Riders' clock as they can.
I talked about this going in for Movistar, that they've got the Tracer and the Genji, and then, yeah, this fight's over, which is why I'm not even talking about it. They've got the Tracer, the Genji, and the Winston, which all helps, but you know, the missing piece in a lot of this that never gets enough credit in the dive comp is the soldier in the backline, who's doing all this damage, and sometimes he's not showing up in the kill feed, but we have to remember that that's enabling dash resets, that's enabling those finishes for Tracer, it's doing all of the immediate damage, and Finzi, you want to yell at someone for just holding on to ults, but he's not had to use it. Their ult economy has been phenomenal.
No, Swoosh has got his second Dragon Blade this entire time. Now it's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. Swoosh finally does go down, but Colsey gets that cleave damage onto Fox. It's a 2-for-1 exchange. Movistar Riders continue to push forward. Destro's brought out of his suit, and now they're starting to run out of meat on the payload here, and so Cyclowns are getting cleaned up, and Movistar Riders, they have 2 minutes and 20 seconds to just finish out this map.
Yeah, I called Cyclowns a meat and potatoes team, which I believe they are, and I think that can be a good thing, but it is time to throw some spice in here. Someone's got to get a big play out of any of them, and whether that's going to be Pox or it's going to be Davin, they need an enormous game flipper here. They have to have something to stabilize. Finzi finds a spot to finally do it. That's a nice sound barrier, which will slow them down, but counter transcend, everyone nice and healthy, and it continues to be Movistar Riders looking through. Maybe that's the first kill they need to get Colsey out of the mix.
Yeah, we even had the Biotic Nade landing onto Logix. That's starting to force them back. Movistar Riders playing a little bit more passively, but they should be backing out soon. I mean, Swoosh should be the final member to go down before they call it a hard reset here. So finally, Cyclowns are able to reestablish their defense. They're going to push them back. I mean, this final portion of Eichenwald, a lot of teams can struggle with it.
Remember when that door used to shut?
Oh my gosh.
The door used to shut, you used to get May over here, and you just wanted to concede. Essentially, Eichenwald was a battle to see who got second faster. Yeah, last point's really hard to take because you need to go very cleanly. That is beautiful pulse bomb to take out the opposing Winston. Winston's so important in both of these. Swoosh is going to come in and swooshes Blade around looking for a little bit, but he gets chunked down by Pox, who has actually switched back over to the Zarya.
Yeah, he swapped back over to the Zarya. D-Mech onto Destro there as they're starting to clean up on the side of Movistar Riders. They haven't really lost much off of it. They're going to use the sound barriers. They continue to push forward. Primal Rage comes out. It's just batting Davin around as Pox is coming in with the respawn, but now his personal barrier's gone. There we go. That's the Helix Rocket. That comes in. That cleans them up, but the defense, they're respawning, and they're just trying to buy as much time as possible here.
Well, they boosted the Tracer earlier, so you don't see Logix does not want to see a boosted Davin again. Finzi finds a visor. All blood red in the kill feed means Movistar Riders will complete Eichenwald with 41 seconds remaining. Biggest mistake you saw from Cyclowns there.
They looked really disjointed in their ultimate usage, right? We saw in the second phase where they went for that nano boosted Winston, and at that point, that's when I believe those Pucks and FC just completely came desynced. They never were able to get the nano visor out or anything else like that. So I think that was one of the biggest issues when they got into the third phase there.
I think we need to see a little more out of Pox overall. Very quiet, died too often, switched I think 3 times overall. I don't know whose fault that Graviton into Transcend was. It was either Pox's or Epsi's. I think Epsi's been playing well, but maybe just didn't have the sync of having the anti-heal on. They all went into the... I don't know. I've never seen a Graviton used onto a Transcend unless you know that follow-up is there. So that was, I think, the beginning of the end, and it was right in the beginning. So that's not a great sign. However, still a chance here, still time to get back, and they can finish the map as we look at the beautiful stone castles. That looks a lot like our hotel.
It really does. I mean...
We are staying in a literal castle.
Yeah, when someone described it to me as the castle, I thought they just meant, oh, it's big and it's got probably thick gray walls. But no, it's got ramparts, it's got the corner towers, everything. Yeah. We're actually, most of us in the corner rooms ourselves.
Yeah, and when Gilfrost, or as you guys colloquially know me, as Left Guy described me as a castle, I was like, ha ha ha, I get it, I'm a king, I get it, I'm amazing, but... No, it was just a castle. He does not think I'm great. All right, so let's see what we have coming out here. Offensively, I mean, again, Pox is hovering this Pharah.
I think they're going to go with it.
I think so, too. And EU is one of those regions where they don't necessarily run a Mercy with it. They can run a Zen with it as well, so he'll get a lot of the Orb. And I think they have to. They have to try something different because what they did on defense did not work out. And on Movistar's side, you see pretty much traditional thing going on there. Triple DPS, but no Zenyatta in the mix. They're going to run Dante on a Ana instead.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, but I guess they really do want to just enable Swoosh and Finzi when they get their ultimates. I mean, that's what we see time and time again. Colsey missing his jump there, might have gotten caught out, but no one actually punishes him. He's able to get healed right back up, but there it is, Pox on that Pharah, just having free reign, playing over by the bell tower.
Yeah, the Ana can help out a little bit here. I don't think it really matters if you run an Ana or a Zen against Pharah. Both have their roles in trying to take it out. Pox needs the healing, has to play. Why this is good for an offensive Pharah is because that tower right there. You can just hide out behind it and hang out. That Winston got very low. Latex will be taken down, but Destro evens it up a little bit. That's a nice helix. So a lot of the healing down. I prefer that trade for the offense. They should maybe try to find an angle to push this. They will do just that.
Yeah, they're just slowly cleaning them up one by one, and at this point, Movistar Riders, they're just trying to draw this out for as long as possible. So the first push coming out from Cyclowns is going to be successful. Movistar Riders, they had to attempt twice, so Cyclowns just on a little bit of a quicker pace.
You know what's great about this too is I think Pharah can be very good on the second point. I've always thought Pharah was good, and I keep making these allusions to Hollywood, but I find the map's design in similar-ish ways because she's always good at taking high ground away, and you don't even necessarily have to get kills. You get up there with the concussion blast, you're knocking people off all over the place, creating chaos, and they're going to have the Justice reigns from above, the barrage. I forget what it's called. I haven't even heard the whole voice line. That's how I play Pharah.
It's normally bruh.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear there's a J involved. That's all I know. There's a J in the first word here. It's going to be difficult to find value out of it, and I think there's times where you should just not use ults. The moment she uses ult here is going to be a bad time for her, especially with Finzi with the sub area. But wow, gets the drop onto Finzi. I will eat those words. Pox having a much better performance. Logix has something to say about it, though. My God, this guy's good.
I mean, he's just pumping those stats at that point, right? We said 0.5 average, right, per kill with the pulse bomb, and it's just continuing to tick up there. I thought that was a great initiation, right?
Yeah.
Coming out from Cyclowns. They went for the sound barrier that kept Pox alive during his barrage. Unfortunately, he only found one target off of that. No other real follow-up, and of course, it was just Logix coming in with a heroic play with a two-man pulse bomb that just shut it down.
Well, so Pox will get off of the Pharah and go back onto the Genji, which is a good choice here. You still have to be able to get the high ground, and you don't have jump jets, but apparently climbing walls is just as good, and you can't run a Pharah into the position that they're on. It's just impossible to do. Finzi still up top, still holding onto the tactical visor, might be going for a big flank, does not see the targets. Meanwhile, Swoosh also struggling to find targets. He's able to take down Crusade, but some trades coming out here. This is not quite over, but with Pox going very low, look who's there on the cleanup with the headshot kills. They will get everything they want out of it. And Cyclowns is pushed back yet again. Do you think they need to change anything, or is it just a matter of waiting for ults to come online?
One of the key differences we saw on Movistar Riders' pushes here is that Swoosh had his Dragon Blade at the ready when they wanted to contest the high ground, and that's how they were able to force them out, take out the supports, and then clean up from there. Now, Pox swapped off onto that Genji a little bit later, so it's going to be a while before he gets activated. I mean, he's only at 53% so far, but he did get that kill onto Logix, so this might be the opening they're looking for, especially with Colsey going down.
It's really important they got Logix out of it because that makes Davin's life all that much easier. Does not have to worry about his counter on the ground there. They will end up popping a visor here as they try to get up top. Finzi does not find it right away, but Latex can only stall his life out for so long. They take the moment to get some free push down there, but Logix goes down yet again. I think they figured out one of the biggest problems has been dealing with Logix as they've prioritized him in the last couple of fights. Some medium push here, but the trades coming in now, I think, will end up favoring the defense. That is an ambitious Dragon Blade. Get something out of it, though. I'm surprised. Good on you, Pox.
Yeah, he was able to clean up Finzi. He just went for that 1-for-1, but now Pox might get caught out here.
Logix has had a rough 3 lives in a row, getting domed, and yeah, I mean, you know my feelings on Genji, and the reason is I play a lot of Tracer. That happens to me all too often. Oh, shurikens. Yeah.
I don't have the trigger discipline.
Logix goes down again. Man, I cast or cursed the heck out of this guy, didn't I? I just talk about how great he is. He's had 4 deaths in the last minute.
Everyone's had his number. It's not Destro, it's Pox. Davin, not quite so much, but Davin's been doing work himself, cleaning up Neptuno, and Dante's going to go down as we move into the castle here.
Davin would be smart to avoid Logix anyway. I mean, TVT's so volatile as in Logix.
Oh, boy.
Lucio getting in on the action. That's how you get tinnitus. Oh my God, what has been going on? All right, so Logix needs to just unplug his keyboard for a second. Just take a minute, because this is tilt time, and he is such a big part of this team that he cannot keep dying like this. He has to stay alive. He has to at least be a threat. They're gonna buy time. Here comes a blade from Swoosh in the backline trying to get there, but a beautiful sound barrier to respawn means Swoosh gets nothing. They will follow it up with another Transcend using both support alts, and Cyclowns has come to life.
Yeah, this is
Devin got Logix.
reversal.
Everyone's gotten Logix. I think all 6 of them have gotten Logix at some point in the last couple of minutes.
This has definitely not been Logix's best showing so far. He's swapping off onto May, trying to go for as much stall as possible, because take a look at the time on the side of Cyclowns. They end this map with 2 minutes and 20. They got additional added time, so it's going to be 2:42 for them. Movistar Riders have a real uphill struggle ahead of them here.
I thought they looked good, but I guess there was 2 sides to every story, and we know, like, by the rules, I read the rule book. There's 2 sides to every map. I think you have to play them. Wow, Cyclowns comes out very strong there. And, you know, maybe I'll take this moment to talk about, like, how everyone contributes. Well, everyone got a piece of Logix that round.
I don't even know what to say.
I don't even want to watch this. Oh, disgusting. Ugh.
That's generally, like, a 1v1 that you can win, right? Tracer, you got a Genji cornered. He's not able to, like, have the backup of his teammates.
I don't think he saw him. I just don't think he even knew he was there. There's some nice hiding there.
Playing a little peekaboo.
Oh man, wow.
What kind of peekaboo did you play? The face. That's not a fun game of peekaboo, no.
I mean, my parents weren't necessarily nice to me, but no, I was not, treated Chinese throwing stars as a child.
All right, so now, Movistar Riders, they've got a minute. They struggled a little bit. I believe their first push on their initial offense got shut down by Cyclowns. That's a regroup. They're not changing anything up, but neither are Cyclowns. Are Movistar Riders going to face the same kind of opposition? Are they going to be able to get this first point?
Well, the defense from Cyclowns only really needs to hold once here. I mean, 1 minute, Eichenwald, it's really hard to get 2 solid pushes out of it, but you're against a dive comp, so if there's any comp that can do it, maybe you get 2. They have to be expecting ultra aggression. Dive comp's not going to wait for the perfect spot here, I don't think, if they want to. They're just going to go in immediately, and that's exactly what happens. They're even going to boost in. Finzi trying to get that Imogen. I think he's going to go through this cave onto the left side. That's where he tried to get in earlier and rotate around with his team. Still bloodless so far, though. Davin trying to look for Finzi. He knows where he has been set up the entire time, but has to get out. Dante takes down Epsi, and that's one support taking down another. That does not bode well for Cyclowns.
Yeah, especially if it's FZ going down, right? He was the Ana player. They're running this triple tank, and so now the health bar is just dwindling on the side of Cyclowns, and this is what Movistar Riders need. They need to take this point and try and run it for as long as possible, as Pox is going to go down along with Davin now. So Movistar Riders are going to be able to breathe a sigh of relief here.
Very nice for them, especially back against the wall like that. Now we are in overtime, so all of the push is free. A nice nade actually heals everyone up post that Helix. I think that's what you're owing about. That's a nice Helix, got like 3 chunks, but some nice healing came in from aforementioned Epsi, able to get everyone back to health, and they want to fight on the card. This is smart. You don't want to give any free pusher. You know that you might be in the same position next time on your push.
Yeah, so the Dragon Blade did come out from Swoosh. He's going to be able to clean up 2 with that, as Finzi will take out Davin. So now they're pushing through this gate, but once again, they're just trying to delay it as long as possible. Destro and Pox going down. They're going to be able to respawn at the same time. But the ooh was for Logix, as he tried to push in through the ramparts with the wall section there. He actually got slept by FZ, and you just saw the rest of Cyclowns. They already, had a piece of him. They all just wanted to get together and just to see him.
Well, it's our first time working together. I don't know quite what your oohs mean yet, Kappa. And we'll see how it goes. They're still pushing here, and Finzi's gonna get onto the high ground with the tactical visor. These flanks can be great, but sometimes you're just caught out in a terrible spot. He's just gonna get the damage in early, as they do not see him over there, all alone on the bridge up top as the car continues to push below. Nice sound barrier gonna make sure that they're all alive. The anti-heal comes down, but this push is still going, and I think they should be able to get even a little bit more. They've got the numbers up here, Jamerson.
Yeah, Destro is going for this tactical visor, but he's not going to get anything off of it. Like 3-4 members of his team were already down. Now, this is an issue where Cyclowns are, I think, losing this defense so far, because really, once they were in overtime, what did you have to do? Just recollect yourself, wait for your ultimates to come up, and then just go for one big concerted push. But now they've been tunneling in one by one by one.
I didn't mind fighting in front of the first door that opened, but never mind. Here comes a giant blade with a transcend, gonna get a little bit. Swoosh finds himself out of the healing light of enlightenment, and Pac's gonna equal it up. 4v4 now down on the cards as they continue to go for it, but it's our boy Logix gets himself to Davin, the last man standing right now, is on the cart. The cleave comes in. They're still gonna keep trickling, and this is the issue. I don't mind the trickle in certain situations. This one maybe. The first door I think was really smart to fight beyond that because that door takes forever to open. But in the second stage, you got to find a place to regroup, and they've done nothing but trickle all throughout here, which is why they've given up so much push. They've got 4 back out here, though. They've regrouped a little bit.
Yeah, they should be able to stabilize here and then finally put an end to Movistar Riders. But as I say that, Finzi already just from so far away, he's able to get these free kills off, and I thought they had it, but we're just caster cursing all day so far. So that's gonna be the second checkpoint, and Movistar Riders, they've been on borrowed time since that first gate, and now take a look where they are. They're on the 3rd phase once again here on Eichenwald.
It's absolutely demoralizing. There's no other way to say it. This is demoralizing. They had 1 minute to push first point on a hybrid map, and now they're pushing in towards last. And this is where we saw defenses finally stabilize for last time for Cyclowns, able to win a fight or two. We'll see if they can do it yet again, as Soundberry will come off from Movistar, so they're going to get even more aggressive as they try to chase down. Davin stays in a little bit too long for my liking, able to blink out though with his life. Still have to give up all this free push. Davin needs to hit a bomb. His name in the kill feed has not been there in the amount that I'd like to see it. Misses his bomb.
Yeah, Cyclowns now just going to go ahead and pop 4 ultimates as they push forward. They got the nano boost onto the Winston. Pox with that Dragon Blade, helping clean up too. And finally, they're going to put a stop to Movistar Riders, but they just got so much push out of this.
Yeah, that's baffling. I mean, yeah, they had to win 1 fight from the moment. They had to win 1 every period. Yeah, if they win that first defensive fight, probably fine. If they win any fight after that, they're fine. But I think the trickle there, it's so interesting on these hybrid maps, because this is where a lot of teams struggle, is on second. Where do we regroup? Where do we actually get 6 together? And I think the added pressure of overtime makes teams think that they can win a fight and pull it back where they can't. And they trickled and they staggered, and they really just got out-DM'd during a lot of that.
Yeah, we see a lot of teams actually struggle once it comes down to that, but really they just need to regain their composure and understand what their win condition is, right? Just try to put a stop to Movistar Riders as soon as you can. Just fight with all of your ultimates, just save that up, bank it up, and make sure they don't get a ridiculously protracted push like Movistar Riders did there. Now, the shoe's on the other foot. Cyclowns are in the hot seat.
Yeah, it's I mean, I did like that fight right outside the gate, and because the gates in Overwatch,
that was a smart one.
Yeah, they take forever. But after that, just try to take the high ground again. I mean, just take something. But they lost that fight, and then, it was tough to watch. But you know, we thought that the first time around that Movistar did really well. Then Cyclones came in, so they got 242 to work with. But it's going to take them overtime to push it to where it was. I don't think you can actually physically push the car, capture the point, push the car in 242 anyway. So they're going to have to win every fight for the most part, just like Movistar did. But they're running that same composition. Pharah's going to be over the top. This time, they're not going to be surprised by it if they were. The first time is Movistar, but it's going to... The Pharah compositions aren't necessarily as fast as the dive compositions either.
No, they're not. They need to be able to take this first point pretty aggressively and pretty quickly here. Movistar Riders, I mean, they just set a ridiculous pace, but there we go. That's huge. Dante going down first. Colsey dropped down real low, and he's not really going to be able to get healed up by that Lucio, but Logix did answer back. As I say that, though, Destro coming in with that Soldier 76, takes out Swoosh and Colsey, and so they're setting a good pace for themselves. Even though they trickled a little bit there,
they should be fine.
Crusade will be able to clean up Finzi. They'll secure that point.
I like this composition better. I'm not necessarily in love with Pox on the 76. I think that's what he struggled the most on, even in his first couple games. I like his Pharah. I like his Genji. I think he's probably a projectile specialist from what I've seen from him so far. And mostly, I like this Destro guy on 76. I think he's been playing really well on it.
No, he's had some clutch Helix rockets coming on out. Now, Movistar Riders, they have regrouped. They're just kind of playing spread apart so they can find that dive target. Remember, they are running that triple DPS dive. So all of them with different vantage points. They're trying to spot out any support, and FZ goes down by Logix. He picks up a second kill, and they should be forcing them back. Cyclowns don't need to force the issue. They just need to regroup at this point. They still have a minute left.
They got a little too cute there. They sent 2 people around on flanks looking for stuff. Of course, the camera was on Davin. He was looking for an enormous pulse bomb. And then when they saw that there weren't everyone there, like, hey, that seems like a good fight we can take. We have the numbers there. They did, and they were unable to come back in time. So 60 seconds before we get into overtime, and I think they're going to give up some push here. Finzi going to get into a position here for a flanking visor if he wants, or just getting some damage from a different angle, making them cover all angles. Another pulse bomb goes up from Davin, does not find anything. There's been a little too many of those for my likings. Perhaps I'm just contrasting with Logix, which isn't really fair.
But Logix is already down. FC finds the kill onto Dante, and now this is the push that Cyclowns were looking for. Easy cleanup coming out from them. That's almost a full team wipe. Finzi just gonna go ahead and sacrifice himself to respawn with his team. 30 seconds to get it across this bridge, get that second checkpoint, and then go for that final push.
I'm just for the last couple days, it's been odd because there's a moat right there. He could have jumped off, could have gone for a swim. I mean, maybe there's, you know, digital piranha or alligators down there. I don't know, but I think it was a better choice rather than feeding the health bars that he did. They might not even come out here now, right? They understand the win condition. They are going to actually come out, just put their Winston on the card, trying to find something. Here comes the blade out of swoosh. He gets discorded immediately, looking for targets. Kolsky dies with Primal Rage up. That would have been beautiful in this position, especially to knock people off the bridge. And despite using the blade, they do not get anything off it. They will push in, but the ult's advantage firmly in favor of Movistar. This is what you need to do, as you mentioned from the other side of things.
Yeah,
Bank up ults, throw them all at it. You only need to win one fight.
Now it is in overtime, but I loved how Cyclowns just spread out there. You saw the bio spread coming out from them, but they knew that as Movistar riders were going to try and push out, Swoosh might try to go for a heroic play. He went for that blade, and the entirety of Cyclowns were just completely spread apart. He couldn't find a good clumped up target as Davin goes in, doesn't connect with that pulse bomb again.
No, it's been an issue for them so far, and right now I'd be surprised if we don't see a little more ults out of them. Kolsky goes down, does not get the healing beats, but Finzi will come in with Tactical Visor, takes out a couple. Swoosh and Finzi combine to take down 4. All over except Crusade, and Crusade will go down, unable to finish his objective.
Full holographic pod.
I've never caught a fish in my life, so it's essentially just release and release. It's watch and release.
I got to catch first. So yeah, we are seeing Swoosh actually pulling out the Pharah. Cyclone's not opting to run it themselves. Desho is on that D.Va though, so she's going to have to soak up a lot of that damage right now. Logic's brought down a little bit low, but he does like to play on the edge.
Yeah, this is a map that you run far on because, of course, concussions on the bridge, and then you see all this damage. Really, any map with a great vertical space where she can hide is always good. You don't want to be exposed as a Pharah. Still trying to get that chip damage in. Still bloodless here. This is slow, but Finzi comes in, nails Helix. Logix with the follow-up. This 6v4 is quickly turning completely one-sided. Logix continues to clean up. That will go all in favor of Movistar Riders, and that's so important in a Pharah composition.
Yeah, one of the most interesting things is that how they play around the Pharah, right? If they want to go for this dive, Latex has to have his barrier up, and if he doesn't, as soon as they go in for the dive, that just means Swoosh just gets all this free damage off from above them, and so that's why we're already seeing him at 80-90% towards his barrage right now. As Movistar Riders, they got 20% on in, Cyclones jump in, but Pulse Bomb comes out, Logix connects it onto Crusade.
He connected onto like 5 people, but Crusade is the one who dies right there. That will end the fight before it starts. We're talking about Tracer being important on this map. To me, and it's not even close right now, she's the best hero in the game. You have to have someone who can run her. She's good at starting fights. She's good at finishing fights. She can end a fight with a pulse bomb before it even starts. Best hero in the game, and Logic's showing you why right there. He'll probably have another pulse bomb by the time we're done at this replay. Right now, never mind. 29. Logix, come on. Make me look good.
Don't sell him short yet. Davin, though, went for a pulse bomb of his own. And with the tactical visor coming out from Cyclones, they've already committed about 4 ultimates into this fight, but nothing coming of it quite yet. As the sound barrier, it is going to go ahead and fizzle away. Swoosh comes in with the barrage, takes out Crusade. A 1-for-1 exchange, though.
Yeah, press Q to die is what I've rebound Q2 as Pharah, but these guys better than me. Does get 1. Sometimes you just want to make it rain on someone in particular. Rest of his team will pop ults in there. Davin's got Pulse Bomb up. I mean, I never really say to save a Pulse Bomb because, but in this situation where most of his team is dead, I think it's better to try to enter the next fight with it. Logic's also with that Pulse Bomb up. We'll see if he can keep his average up. At this point, he's just playing against the numbers.
Cyclone's just really struggling to convert on these kills. In that last team fight, Dante was actually dropped down to about 50 HP. He had no shield remaining, and somehow he just survived there. Cyclones really do need to commit for these kills. They just can't, lollygag around as they are actually pushing back Movistar Riders all the way towards the bridge. They're on on the point now, overtime ticking down.
Lollygag is such a great word. Like, my old shop teacher used to call us lollygaggers. It's the funniest thing in the world to me, and now I'm getting flashbacks. But speaking of that, they will come in, get a couple of kills, and that's nice that they were able to turn over the point, but 99% on the other side of things, and now we're back into a single fight scenario. And this is a map where teams will reset. It's not an Oasis or an Ilios where it's just a constant brawl. You're going to probably see a 6v6 for this point again.
But this is the same situation kind of like we had on Ichabod there in the time bank push. Movistar Riders just really need to bank up their ultis, but no, they're going to push forward with that Transcendence. Logix throws out the pulse bomb. Nothing actually connects onto Latex, and that's a huge pickoff.
Yeah, Latex out of the fight now. Self-destruct will come into the point, but this is one of the easier areas to dodge a self-destruct because you've got this beautiful wall in here in the middle. Still back and forth as Kolsky has gone down too. There was a bit of a miscommunication there as Kolsky was leaping out on this entrance as Transcend was coming in. So obviously something went awry there, and Pox will come in and clean it up. And despite some nice kills from Movistar Riders, not enough to take this point back. And it was just really odd to see Transcendence over the bridge, and there goes Kolsky back to spawn. Like, something was not communicated perfectly there. Finzi and Swoosh, the DPS for Movistar, will have their ultimates up, and now we're down to 2 fights. If Cyclowns can gut this out, they'll steal this stage away.
Yeah, and they are pushing forward. Swoosh has that Dragon Blade, but he doesn't quite have the health behind it. He's going to go ahead and pull it out. Anyways, it's going to be a 2-for-2 exchange as Pox finds 2 of his own. Swoosh will finally go on down, but they were able to back cap it, so Cyclowns aren't going to get the time on the board, at least. So Movistar Riders now, though, they're just trying to scrabble back into this Logix with the pulse bomb, connects it onto Destro. Wow, Logix just going huge.
It was a nice sound barrier because the only ones really in there were Logix and his Lucio, and they decided, let's just go with the carry that has brought us here. Then Finzi's going to come in with the reinforcements. He's got everyone in his sights. Triple kill from Finzi. And despite Cyclowns getting a nice showing, well, you never know on this map. Maybe they can bring it back, but here goes Primal Rage that should buy them enough stall. It's just a matter of getting other people in here. Dante says no. Welcome to my Inferno. Puts 2 down quickly. And there they go. That should be it. I mean, I'd be stunned otherwise. The wick burns quick here late. There it is. Movistar Riders will take first point. Why do you think they switched off of the Pharah? Just not getting enough done? Because it wasn't really punished.
It wasn't punished at all, but I think, you know, Swoosh much more comfortable on that Genji.
Yeah.
He's able to be able to create those really impactful, even play from behind plays, right?
Yeah.
Dragon Blade is one of the greater equalizers in this game.
Absolutely, and I think Pox has looked good on his Genji. Honestly, I think I will hammer this point home that his Genji and Pharah have been good, and then Destro 76 has been good. So that's what we're going to see coming out, at least early here from the Cyclowns. I think we've been saying clones too often. You guys know what we mean at home. The only clowns in this show are the people behind the desk right now. Right now, it
I'm not going to disagree.
I mean, you'd have to have some proof to disagree. We all know that's not forthcoming. Looks like they're running mirror matches here. So both standard European dives incoming. It's going to matter just kind of who executes better. That's how dives always gone.
Yeah, we've seen actually a lot of teams play a little bit more passive when it comes to the dive here and just punish the divers instead, re-engage upon them, right? Which is why we're seeing both sides being a little tentative here, just kind of playing Red Rover at this point.
Yeah, come on over. I was terrible at that game. I'm a slight person, unable to break those chains. Well, 2 quick kills out of the DPS. Swoosh and Logix, as we mentioned, big players here for Movistar Riders. And they continue to get kills. Deflect does not work against electricity. In fact, it should probably just make you take more damage, I think.
Yeah. And at this point, like, we're seeing why Movistar Riders have been actually succeeding in this meta. They're one of the teams that are really disciplined when it comes to dive versus dive, right? Yeah. Like I had mentioned, they're one of the more passive teams when it comes to that mirror matchup. They allow Cyclowns to just overextend and then punish the overextenders.
One thing overlooked about dive, it's intensely complicated, especially on the defensive side of things. How are you going to catch the other dive? And the teams that do that the best are the teams that succeed the most.
Yeah, and this map in particular, you have so much space to just back off and set up that trap for them and, you know, force out the, wow, Davin actually didn't kill on the Finzi, but being able to force out the gap closers and then just keep them trapped there. But at this point, Cyclowns, they've picking up 2 kills, but they haven't contested the point quite yet. Swoosh, now he's got that Dragon Blade coming on out, but the tactical advisor comes out from Destro. With the help of Latex, they are going to be able to clean them up. But Movistar Riders just contesting the point for as long as they can. It's at 50% and only 52 on the board, but damage done for them.
That looks a little odd. Well, was that Transcend late? Because it looked like Swoosh was diving into that Transcend. Maybe just a little too much damage came focused onto him. I think he was discorded too, so the power of Transcend can only do so much. You can be inside the Iris and still die, apparently, as that happened to Swoosh right there. It was an interesting blade because I thought they were just going to hang out and stall and wait for the rest of the team and just get as many points, but they ended up using some ults there, maybe perhaps feeling a little bit overconfident. Now they've already lost Finzi on the entry here. It is time to leave and regroup, and they're getting chased out a little bit. Swoosh, don't be baited. All right, later. Good job, Swoosh.
I think one of the ideas was use the blade to try and stall long enough for Colsey to get his Primal Rage, and then Colsey will be able to get back in with the Primal Rage and stall for even longer, get them to about 70, maybe 80 with the respawners coming back on in. But now Cyclowns on the verge of evening it out here. They're currently at 45 as Movistar Riders pushing forward. Finzi has his tactical advisor, but wow, the Transcendence came out. That's going to allow them to get the kill onto Colsey here, but with the sound barrier, they are pushing forward. Finzi has used that tactical advisor, but he hasn't found anything of it quite yet. Latex with the Primal Rage pushes forward. He finally goes on down. The Orb of Discord's helping them out there, but it's a back and forth affair, and without being able to get a clear win here, Movistar Riders having a difficult time getting this entry onto the point.
I think the last couple of maps, or maybe just fights or mechanics, whatever they're seeing, has given them this unwarranted hubris, because the way they're using ults in this stage is a little bit baffling. It goes back to that Dragon Blade, then the Transcend. Maybe Swoosh can bring it back here, but they've been using ults kind of willy-nilly, if you will. Whenever they get them up, they just keep popping them. Right now, still going to get back in here, and yet to flip it back over. The stall will come out, and still having a tough time. This will be at about 99 if it's flipped over at all. Will finally be one more fight for Cyclones, and they should be able to even up this map. But, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, the blade from Swoosh to stall, do you really need a blade to stall? Then that forces out the Transcend that they needed there. As you mentioned, Finzi didn't get anything from his visor, and Cyclones have just been getting more out of their ultimates. It's just the value game that they've been winning.
They have been, but in that last long, protracted fight, Movistar Riders really able to equalize things out. You know, we see a lot of teams, when they retake, they have to kind of overcommit on ultimates just to ensure that they get the point. But because it was so protracted, their Cyclones were able to actually force out their ultimates. But now, Swoosh pushing forward, Transcendence also use their Primal Rage is going to come on out. That forces out the Transcendence, and now 90%. Cyclones just way out of position, and they have no ultimates for this retake other than that Pulse Bomb.
Should have died with that Transcend, but as you mentioned, it's getting so late that they had to. What we just saw there was a perfect catch for Movistar, as we mentioned. They jump in with Winston, discorded, dead. They jump in with Genji, dash through, dead. And that's how well they played the dive defense. Not necessarily their own dive, but how they defend the opposing dive. And I think if you're a team playing against Movistar Riders, you just never let your Winston jump until the other one jumps, because every time they do, just annihilated.
Now, we've seen a lot of different approaches when it comes to trying to defend against the dive. We've seen a lot of teams trying to implement the D.Va to try and prolong those backline fights, you know, use the defense matrix to keep the supports alive while everyone else regroups there. But I love how Movistar have been doing this, and they've been doing this for months, and many teams haven't really quite figured out how to beat them with it.
I think a lot of it is making sure that you have the healing where it needs to be in your backline. And then, for me, a lot of it is just keeping your Winston back there. Because a lot of times you see like ships passing in the night, whereas Winston sail past each other and try to get the support from their long-range heroes. But if you can keep your Winston back, or if he can leap back and time it well enough, then you're going to be able to play that defense a little bit better on the dive. We enter in stage 3 here. This is the night market. I personally only buy things at night, so I only visit night markets. No, and by night markets, I mean Amazon.
I wish I had like night markets in my area, but you know, there are things that are like a bit more prevalent in like Asia and Europe, right? Yeah. And so whenever I go to South Korea, I will go. But already take a look at that. Swoosh and Logic's coming in with the opening frags. That's going to be a second one going on down. This DPS duo from Movistar Riders cleaning up time and time again. But you know, let's not leave out Finzi though. Finzi on the Soldier 76 has just been a solid DPS, right? He's just supposed to be that consistent DPS, making sure they get down low, and Movistar Riders just reassert their dominance at this point. Right now, they're leading 2-0. Remember, this is a 4-game set. They are getting grouped up here. Pulse Bomb comes on out. Logix connects onto Latex.
It's almost, you don't even need to see it. You can switch the camera at that point. We all knew what was going to happen right there. Latex was going to die to that Pulse Bomb. It was definitely going to happen, and then this fight is pretty much over already. They can't come in here anymore. They already lost their tank. Now they have to just make sure they don't die to the chase, although somehow Crusade takes down Finzi. But you're so right. This is why I've always had an issue with flanking 76s. You need to be alive in the fight. Your team's counting on you to do those initial impacts, the initial pellets of damage to make everyone softer for you. And Davin's still in here. I don't know why. A little bit out in no man's land. He's going to have to use the rewind, going to make him much more vulnerable. He's able to get back to his team. Has Pulse Bomb ready. Let me ask you this question. It's really important. Does 7-Eleven count as a night market?
No. No, you need to be able to haggle. You need to be able to haggle. I mean, we're just not afforded that many options to haggle here in the US.
Yeah, no, you're right, but bartering is a lost art on us. Swoosh comes in, tries to make a deal with his blade, makes one with 3 people. Pox does get back, but wow, Swoosh ends that before it starts. Swoosh's blades have been on point today.
Oh, they have, and I mean, that was just a prime opportunity for them, right? Everyone just runs into this really narrow corridor, and they just get cleaned up. There are many more things being cut up in there other than like fish and food. It's going to be the entirety of Cyclowns there, and now it's coming down to almost the last fight for Cyclowns on this retake.
Well, guess who's got Pulse Bomb?
Logix? I mean, that's not even a question at this point. He actually finally misses one.
What a terrible tracer. This Logix guy, they should try to find a replacement for him ASAP.
Now, Transcendence does come out from FC, and they were able to trade away 1-for-1. Swoosh going on down, but now, with the Transcendence gone, the sound barrier was used by Movistar Riders. That kept them healthy for the longest time, and now Finzi pushes forward. He's got that tactical visor, picks up a double kill before he finally falls to Latex from that Primal Rage, but that's not going to be enough. It's going to get flipped on over, and it looks like Movistar Riders are going to take the second map.
Unless a miracle comes down, he's putting on his Keds, his Soldier 76. Unable to get on the point, is taken down. That is now 2-0.